Jeremy Edwards, professor and chair of chemistry and chemical biology at UNM. My thinking of intellectual property goes back to, I started thinking about it when I was a postdoc. Both my graduate advisor and my postdoc advisor were both very involved in protecting their intellectual property. And my postdoc advisor even told me it was my ethical responsibility to pursue intellectual property, because no matter what you develop, if you don't have the intellectual property to protect it, it won't go anywhere. No company is going to pick up what you've done unless they have some protections. And he was speaking particularly from the perspective of medicine. He was using the example of drugs. You could have a drug that cures all these diseases, but yet if they don't have the protections, they will not go through all the FDA approvals and so forth. So he kind of hammered it on me. And then I started my faculty position, and my first 5 years, I thought, he didn't know what he was talking about. To be an academic, you need to publish papers. And it wasn't until probably 5 years later that I realized that I should have listened to him, and he was very wise. And then I started pursuing the intellectual property. So I reached out to SDC and I said, I have this idea, and started interacting with the people here, and I learned so much. And they helped me, walk me through every step to go from my ideas, my concepts, into disclosures, and then patent applications, and then many of them have issued as patents. I've always done research as very applied, and so when I talk to many of my colleagues, they have no interest in patents, and they probably have no reason to have any interest, because there's probably very few applications for what some people do. But for my research, it has many applications, and it's very fulfilling to me to not just do the research, but see the research take off, and maybe see other people using it, or even develop as a product, or any of these other things that can happen when one pursues the intellectual property route. So I've had several experiences through the rainforest. One of them is still going on, and I found interactions with the rainforest to be really helpful, all the way back from the beginning times when I mentioned when it was still STC, of people walking you through every step of the process, people here taking our disclosures and then actually marketing the disclosures and finding entrepreneurs in the community somewhere that are interested in what you've done, and helping match the inventor with investors and potential CEOs, and they've made the process quite seamless from my perspective. So there's definitely been collaborative opportunities that have been generated because of commercialization opportunities. I think one of the commercialization avenues that I've pursued has come of this whole process. So basically meeting new investors, meeting new potential CEOs, meeting new innovators in the community has led to new ideas and new research that wouldn't have been possible without this. So it's been fulfilling from that perspective, as well as actually pushing the research forward as well. I'm just as proud of all of the patents that we have as all of the publications, peer-reviewed publications, as well as any of the funding opportunities. I think it's an essential part of the academic dossier. I think some departments view it as more important than others. In my department, there are very few faculty that have patents, but in other departments, I think it is an essential part of the entire academic process, and it is, I think, just as valuable as any of the other academic works that I've done. First, don't be stubborn like I was for 5 years. I think the key is realizing that IP is important from the beginning. I wonder how many inventions I gave away. Well, actually, I know I've counted them. How many inventions I gave away before I really realized how essential this process is. And I've advised all of the young faculty members in my department to pursue this, and I've given them examples of how I made mistakes in the very, very beginning, despite the fact that I was educated by my mentors to pursue the IP routes. And so hopefully it makes a difference. I know some junior faculty in my department are starting to disclose some of their inventions to the rainforest, and I hope it continues even more.